Hello, church. This is obviously an unusual place for me to stand. As you're very aware, I'm normally standing like 2 meters in that direction, and believe it or not, that place over there feels much more comfortable. And the guitar is much nicer for me to protect myself. But this is a topic that I'm really passionate about. This is something that I would really love to share with you guys about. And we can see that David, when the presence of God, the Ark of the Covenant, came back to Israel, David danced before the Lord with all his might. And he danced in an undignified manner. And I truly believe, guys, as a church, it's my belief that there will be some significant breakthroughs that happen for us as individuals in our personal lives, but also as us as a church family, some significant breakthroughs that will come when we get undignified in our worship before the Lord. I really, really believe it. And I don't believe that dance is going to be the only key, but I believe it will be a significant one. And that's what I'd like to share a little bit about this morning. And I'd like to encourage us. And you guys probably already can guess maybe where this talk is going to go. And it's going to require some response. And it's going to be really uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable. I realize that. And some of us are going to make some really, really bold steps of faith. And I'm really, really excited about what that's going to look like. But today, I want to talk about dancing. Why do I believe that dancing is going to be so significant for us as a church? Why dance? And I've spoken a little bit about this before when I last spoke on worship. And I believe that it's all to do with cost. It's all to do with cost. Worship must cost us something. I spoke about this before, but I'll share again. The first time that worship is mentioned in the Bible is when Abraham and Isaac are going up to the mountain. And Abraham says to his servant, he says, "Wait here while I and the boy go up and we will worship." He says that in Genesis. If you're not familiar with that story, I encourage you to go and read it. It's the first time that worship gets a mention. Right at the beginning of the Bible. And it says, "Wait here while I and the boy go and worship." So worship must involve us sacrificing something. Worship has to cost us something. In fact, David also says, who we've just been talking about, David also says in 2 Samuel 24, when he's going to buy a threshing floor and he says, "I want to erect an altar here." And he says to the person he's buying the threshing floor from, and he's saying, I'll give you calves, I'll give you these sorts of things to offer to the Lord. And David said in verse 24, it says, "No, I insist on paying for it. I will not sacrifice to the Lord my God burnt offerings that cost me nothing." It's amazing. Worship has to cost us something. So, why dance? Why dance? Why am I talking about that? Because I believe it's about cost. Can I get a show of hands? How many of us in the room this morning would say, "You know what, Aaron, I am a natural born dancer"? Put your hand right in the air. There are a few. And let me tell you, while you've got your hand up, everyone else have a look around, because they're going to really help us in a moment. They're going to really help us. These people are natural born dancers. Okay, now can I have your hands up if you say, "Aaron, I can think of nothing worse"? I can think of nothing worse. I am not a natural born dancer at all. It's not what I enjoy doing. I feel uncomfortable doing it. It's really not what I want to do. Jack, I see you there as well. I doubt it's going to come as a surprise to any of you in the room. I join you in that camp. I am not a natural born dancer. The worship team like to make fun of my little hop side to side that I do on a Sunday morning like that. I do that. Believe me, it doesn't go much further than there. I love a wedding. I love the food mainly. That's the main part of a wedding, but and to celebrate with the couple, obviously. But the dancing is the bit I loathe. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's the bit of the evening that I've been dreading. Dance is not my thing at all. And honestly, when I think to myself, "Jesus, what can I offer you that's going to cost me something? What can I offer you that's going to actually cost me something this morning?" The first thing that comes to my mind is dance. Why? Because I don't want to do it. I do not want to do it. And I really believe that, guys, if there are things in your life that you're like, Jesus, you can ask me to do this and I will. And Jesus, you can ask me to do this and I will. But if you ask me to do that I'm going to struggle with. If there are things in your life that you're like, actually, that you can have everything, but this area, this is reserved. I don't want you to ask me this one thing. Maybe for you it might be finance. Maybe for you undignified worship is going to look a little bit different. But maybe like you're going, Lord, you can have everything. Please don't ask me to give £100 to that person. Or, Lord, you can have everything, but I don't want to dance in front of other people. Let me tell you, I genuinely believe, and it's my heartfelt belief, that those things that you want to withhold from God will guaranteed be one of the keys to significant breakthroughs that you have in your life. God wants everything. And when you think about those things that you're like, I want to keep that for myself, there's a big chance that when you step out in faith and you go, God, because you've asked me to and because I know it's going to cost me, I believe he meets you where you are. And some of us are going to make some significant steps this morning, just as I was saying before. And for some people this morning, you're going to raise your hand for the first time in worship. And that is massive. I do not want to underplay the fact that that is absolutely huge. For some people, you might be really comfortable with raising your hands. And today I'm going to ask you to step outside of your comfort zone. I believe that one of the big reasons, the main reasons that we don't dance undignified is because we're scared of what people think. And that's true for me as much as it is for everybody else. I promise you, I am terrified of what someone else is going to think of me. And I was listening to one of my friends speak on undignified worship just a couple of weeks ago. In fact, if you want to, I'll point you in his direction because he did such a good job. But one of the things he said is he shared a story of a worship event that he was at. And in his words, this is what he said, so I'm quoting him. He said, I was at this worship event and there was this worship leader, and the only way I can describe it is he was like trouncing up and down the stage. And he was like, this guy's a bit weird. Like, what is going on? This guy is trouncing up and down the stage. But there was one moment where the worship leader turned to the congregation and he pointed and he said this. And he said, the person next to you did not die for you. Jesus died for you, and you're worried about what they think. Whew. It hits me now. It's like so powerful because, guys, Jesus died for you. The person sat next to you did not. They are great. They're fantastic. But don't be concerned with what they think, because Jesus is here. Yeah? So I really believe that the number one reason is we're scared of what people think. And I'm going to actually share a little video with you. And I would like to share this video. Some people might be a little bit offended. Sorry about that. That's because you might support a different team. But some people will be very pleased on their birthday that I'm showing such a wonderful video. But what I'm using this video to share with you is not to say, Liverpool Football Club didn't die for you. Is not to say any of that. What I'm here to say is I genuinely don't believe that there's a single person in this room that this doesn't apply to. I think that it applies from the youngest person in the room, and we've seen some of the young people dancing. I see that Karis is a natural-born dancer. There's some young people in the room that are already getting in, but this is not for the young people. This is for everybody. And I want you to turn your attention to the screen just now, and I'd like you to listen to the commentator that's talking in this video.
It's been an incredible performance. In these moments, these are your mates, and you have good times and you have bad times. But to be together on the pitch in front of your own fans celebrating like that, you can honestly see who the good dancers are, who the bad ones. Daniel, you'd have the moves if you was out there, I'm sure.
I'm telling you right now, I'd be dancing like nobody's business if I was out there, I'm telling you. But you look in the stands, you look around you, there are young children being lofted high on their parents' and their grandparents' shoulders. There are grandparents grinning from ear to ear, dancing along as well. It doesn't matter how old you are. All it matters is right now in this stadium is whether you've got Liverpool in your hearts.
Can you guess where I'm going to go? All that matters right now, right here in All Nations, this morning on Berkeley Avenue, is whether you've got Jesus in your heart. That's what matters. When you fall in love with your favourite football team and you celebrate a victory like that with them, everyone, from the youngest person to the oldest person, babies are being held aloft by grandparents. Grandparents are smiling from ear to ear. Everybody's joining in a dance. No one cares about what the person next to them thinks. Like, they don't. They're just celebrating with elation. They've fallen in love with their football team. Guys, we need to fall in love with Jesus. We need to fall in love with Jesus. And as I said, there are going to be some big steps today. There are going to be some people that are going to be really uncomfortable. I'm going to be uncomfortable myself as well. And it is by purpose and intention that we have left this space at the front available for you, because we want you to respond in a way that is going to cost you something. Yeah? Is that good? This isn't hype. I'm not here to share something that, is hype or anything like that. This is wholehearted authenticity. This is, I'm going to do away with some of the Britishness, maybe. I'm going to come before God and I'm going to be bold and I'm going to be brave and I'm going to risk it all. Because I believe that if there are things in your life, and for me, that thing's dance, but just by the swathe of people that said they didn't like dancing as well, I believe I'm not the only one. And the dancers in the room are going to really help us. But I believe that some of those things where we go, God, you can have everything, but please don't ask me to do that. I believe we'll see some big breakthroughs this morning. I really do. I really believe that. So, grandparents, kids, we ready? Let's invite the worship team back up. We're going to sing some big, fun, fast songs and stuff. And we're going to clear this space. And as I said, it's for Caris. And it's for all of you. We're going to be bold. And if you're going to raise your hand in worship for the first time, youth, I would love to say this to you. I've been to Limitless with you. Do not wait. Do not wait for Limitless to give Jesus your all. Yeah. Don't wait for an event like that this morning. Come on. Yeah? Is that fair? So think to yourself, what am I going to do this morning that's going to cost me? And believe you me, it's going to be the one or two that come first. They're going to be the brave ones. And the rest are going to come and follow, because those people are going to step out. So if you're ready, fill this space. If you're already sat on a front row, you need to come to the middle, because you're like, that's going to be my step. Let's do it. We ready? Yeah. Come on then, guys.